Okay, good afternoon everyone. Okay, good afternoon everyone. So in my last class for IT, we have been talking about the several barriers in the communication, what are causing those barriers and in what way we can overcome those barriers. So in today's class, I hope to finish this entire chapter in today's class. So today we will be talking about the different characteristics, different properties of effective communication. So what is effective communication? That we already know. Effective communication is when the communication is perfectly okay, when the communicated message has been properly decoded by the receiver and proper feedback has been provided to the sender, the entire process has been successfully done. That is effective communication. So now in this chapter we are not going to go through the same thing again and again. We will just look on the only important part, that is the 7 C's. 7 C's of effective communication means effective communications are having 7 characteristics, 7 properties. So those are all starting with the word C, therefore 7 C's. So the first C is a complete message. Effective communication requires a complete message. Now what is this complete message? In the complete message, what could happen if the communication is incomplete? How do you determine that the message is complete? So there are some questions. If you are getting a proper response to that question, then you have to think that your message or the message that you are receiving, it is a complete message. So following are the questions. The first question, you have to see who is this message is meant for and who all will be affected by it. Means who is this, means if I am telling something, okay, to whom I am telling this message? So answer I am getting to you. So one question is clear, that is this message is sent to you. So you are there. Next question, what exactly do you need to convey through the message? So I am actually conveying some ideas. So the ideas, what is the idea or what is the purpose of this message? That need to be clear. Fine, that is also getting clear. Then when is the right time to communicate the message? Suppose the situation is something else, okay, you people are not ready and I am talking and I am communicating, then that is not the right time to communicate the message. So for being a complete message, we have to keep in mind who is the receiver, the proper receiver, the audience for the message, the agenda or the objectives for the message, the time and duration of the message. And the next question that comes, where are the participants of this communication cycle? Are you sitting in front of me, or are you in some distance, or are you hearing me through the window? Where exactly you are? That also determines the location and availability. Next is why I am telling this message. Obviously, whatever I am telling, there should be a purpose behind it. So what is the purpose behind this message? So that purpose need to be clear. Next is how are you going to communicate? Means the method, what method I am taking. So these all questions, if the message is able to answer, if the message is having the answer to all these questions, then that kind of message will be called as a complete message. So a complete message is one of the characteristics of an effective communication. Okay. Next one is a conscience message. Hold on. Now what is the meaning of conscience message? Means it should be short and precise. Short and precise and simple. So that if I am just telling that, suppose my message is that I am conveying about a time when we are supposed to meet. So I am just telling, meet me at 7 o'clock at this place. fine, it will be a concise message. For this simple thing, if I'm elaborating too much that okay, like let us meet at this time because this time is needed for that thing and this thing and that, and let us meet there because there is such a problem, there is another problem, there is another problem. If I keep on elaborating unnecessarily without coming to the main part of the message, then that is being not concise. So concise, we have to make it short and to the point. Okay, that is another characteristics that is needed for an effective communication. Next, considerate message. Okay, I'm not writing anymore. If I write, the time is going. Considerate, already it is given in your book, so I'm not writing. Considerate message means it promotes a kind of good relationship, develops a good rapport. The way you are giving the message, it should make a good impression on you instead of creating a bad impression on you. So your behavior matters here. In what way you are giving the message? Are you giving the message in a rowdy manner or in a very rude manner? Okay, or in a very evil manner? In what way you are actually conveying the message will be giving an impact on your communication skill. So whether that message is effective communication or not, that also depends whether that message is considerate, means kind in the nature or not. Message should always be kind in the nature, means it should considerate. Because ultimately we have to understand the purpose of each and every communication is to develop a good healthy relationship. A good healthy relationship in the professional field, in the personal field, everywhere. Wherever we are communicating to develop a good relation. Next is clear message. So what is this clear message? Clear means it is related to understanding. The message should not be too much complicated, it should be clear for the understanding level. Okay, it should avoid any kind of repetition, means same word is being repeated in a different way, that should be avoided, and it has to be a clear. So clear message is another characteristics of effective communication. Next is a concrete message. Concrete message means whatever I'm telling, it will have only one particular meaning. It will not have dual or triple meaning. Okay, it should not be having any kind of ambiguity. So whatever I'm telling, suppose if I'm telling a statement, you are thinking, you are taking it in a different way, you are thinking that I mean this, whereas another person is taking it that I mean that, something that. So my message should not be that much ambiguous in nature. It should be concrete. Okay, the meaning should be fixed, one meaning. Next, courteous message. Courteous message is also another characteristic talking about developing a good relationship. So courteous also means kind of your manners, okay, in the way you are giving the message. So what is the difference between considerate message and courteous message? See, let us read. Consideration is an important quality for good communicator. Keep the recipients of the message in mind when you communicate. When we convey a message to someone, we keep the kind of person, the audience in mind. Your message should be encoded in such a way that it meets the requirements of the recipients. Suppose you are a patient. I'm a doctor. So the way I should communicate to you as a doctor and a patient, as a doctor to a patient, my message should be considerate, because you are already suffering with some illness. There I have to consider your state of mind as well as your condition in my mind. I have to consider that, and then I have to speak. I must not utter some word which will affect you or which would hurt you. I must not do that. So that is meant by being considerate. Whereas courteous message, what is the meaning of courteous? Courteous means being respectful, being polite. When you are talking to any person, suddenly, I'm not talking about friends, because I know in what way you will talk to your friends. So suppose you are talking to any elder, or you are talking to any unknown person, or you are going to a shop, you are going to any office, you are going to any institution, you are talking with people. In what way you will talk? Are you going to talk in a rude manner? No, you will be talking, you will be taking up a manner which is gentle. okay, which will be filled with greetings that hello, nice to meet you, thank you. These are the words. So these words will make your interaction, your way of interacting with each other more courteous in nature. So that is the difference between considerate and courteous. Both are related to developing good relation, but both the meanings are different. Considerate means you are thinking of the person who is receiving the message, you are thinking about his mental state, you are thinking about his condition, and then you are speaking so that he does not feel offended, or he or she does not feel offended. And whereas courteous means you are behaving in a good way. Your overall behavior matters in courteousness. The last point, the last 7 number point is correct message. Your message, whatever information you are giving in the message, that information has to be correct. There should not be any kind of doubt regarding the message. You must not give a wrong message. If you are providing a wrong message, then obviously that won't be considered to be an effective communication. Okay. So last but not the least, the quality, the property or the character of your effective communication should have a correct message. So this is the end of session 4. Session 4, there is nothing else to do. We are coming to the last part of this chapter, that is session 5. So session 5 is nothing but whatever you have been learning from your class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the same thing has been given here. So it's talking about the basic writing skills. Basic writing skills, you have been doing many writing skills, you have been doing many essays, many article writing, diary entry, letter writing, everything you have been doing till now. So why do we need these writing skills? So this writing is a part of verbal communication. Verbal communication are of 2 types. Verbal communication means where language is used to communicate. Okay, words and language are used to communicate. That is verbal communication. So verbal communication is divided into 2 parts. One is the oral communication that I am doing right now. I am talking to you, you are listening. That is oral communication. But another communication which is very formal in nature, that is called the written communication. So written communication is considered to be very formal in nature. Now why formal? If the question comes that why written communication is formal in nature, because whenever you are writing something, you are writing one letter, you are writing the letter to the principal, what you will write, you will just not write anything that you feel like. You will write one line, you will think whether you have written the line correctly or not. Maybe instead of writing directly on the fresh page, you will first write the content of the letter in a rough page, because there will be many cuttings and recorrection and changing of the sentences. So instead of making it look very shabby, you just make a plan. So for writing, you are investing lot of your time and thinking power. But while you are speaking, you are not thinking too much. You are just telling whatever comes to your mouth. Even if you are uttering some wrong words, again you are rectifying that instantly. But for writing, that is not the case. For writing, it takes a lot of time. Okay, it will take a lot of time. You have to think, analyze each and every word, the structure of the sentence, keeping in mind the grammatical part, everything, and then you have to write. Because whatever you write regarding any formalities, regarding any legal document, the writing is very important, because people can keep that written portion as an evidence against you. Suppose you have written something kind of in a casual manner and you have sent someone, and then you are in some kind of trouble and you are telling, you are trying to verify yourself that no, actually I don't mean this, I meant that, I mean this. You are trying to explain yourself, but the person who is having the written communication, he will show that, see, I have an evidence. I have an evidence, you only yourself has written this, confess this. This is the exact thing that you have written. So he can hold it against you. So written communication is kind of formal in nature. We have to give lot of time to it for making it up, and we have to be very careful while writing the written document. So for a good written, means good writing skills, Basic writing skills involve some ability. How you will become a very good writer, whatever you write, letter, article, documentaries, whatever you write, you have to have the writing skills, the ability to write. So what are the basic ability that is needed to write efficiently? Those abilities are given as points. First, you have to understand the use of basic grammar, because you will be dealing with the language, whether it is Bengali, whether it is Marathi, whether it is Urdu, whether it is English, whether it is Bengali. Each and every language is having its own grammar. So first you have to be clear about the basic grammar of that particular language. Third one, which one, Rajakul? Third number, one time. Can you explain which is the third number? Okay. Seven C is third. 7C is third. Considerate message. Considerate message means you have to be considerate towards your receiver. Suppose, as I have given the example of a doctor and a patient, the patient is very sick, the patient is coming to the doctor, and the doctor has to be considerate while speaking to the patient. The doctor already have to keep in mind that the patient is very sick, he is unwell, he is very weak. So at that time, the doctor must not shout or scream or scold him or tell some kind of things which he won't be able to take. So there the doctor has to, even if he is having a difficult disease, maybe he is having some kind of critical illness and all, the doctor has to be considerate before telling him what exactly is the problem. The doctor can't say that, hey, you are having cancer, you are going to die. The doctor can't say like that. The doctor has to say like, you are in a kind of difficult situation, the disease is little bit critical, let us do few more tests. Okay, like you have to be in complete restriction, we have to go on through several tests. In this way the doctor has to talk, and the patient automatically he will understand that he is having some difficulties. But the doctor can't be inconsiderate and jump into telling that you are not going to live, you are going to die. That is being inconsiderate. Okay, so that is the meaning of considerate message. Is it clear to you now? And concrete message. Concrete message means the message which is having one single meaning, which is not having dual meaning or triple meaning. Okay, whatever I'm stating right now means I can't say that you are gone. If I'm telling you are gone, this you are gone is having several meanings. What is the meaning? First meaning that you are gone means you have gone away from this place. Another meaning you are gone means you are in big trouble. Okay, so which one exactly I'm trying to mean? This is not the example of a concrete message. Concrete message will be you are going away from this place tomorrow. This will be the concrete message. Means exactly I'm talking about you leaving the place. Okay, if I'm telling in a different sense, I will tell you are gone, now you will be in great trouble. If I mention this, then the message is clear that you are gone. Here I'm trying to say that is you are in a big trouble. Okay, this is the meaning of being concrete. Now is this part clear to you, Rajakul? Okay. Now in the basic writing skill, the first ability I have told that you have to know that basic grammar of that particular language. Next, describe people, situation, experience, weather, incidents. So you have to have the describing ability. Suppose you are talking about one incident, you have to describe it properly. You have to have that ability to describe. You have to describe a person, how the person looks like. You have to describe about a place, how the place looks like. You have to describe about the event. So you have to develop that describing quality. For describing, you have to observe the minute details. Framing, next is framing simple short sentences. means your sentences should not be too big. You have to try to use the simplest form of sentences and as short as possible. But it should be a sentence, it should not become a phrase. Next is expressing feelings, ideas, likes and dislikes, etc. So you have to be able, means while you're writing an article, by reading your article only the readers should be able to understand whether you're writing in favor of something or in the disagreement of something, whether you are actually liking something or disliking something. That should be clearly understandable from your writing. So you have to express that well. Beginning or opening of the piece of writing. So when you are writing one letter, you just can't say, respected sir, you have to take care of the roads are all damaged, these problems are happening, that is happening like this. You can't like immediately jump to the main topic. First you have to go through an introduction. You have to say, with due respect, I'm writing this letter to inform you about some of the problems we are facing. So this is like a starting line. You just can't jump directly to the middle. You have to have a good starting, a beginning. That is we call introduction. An introduction is very important. You have to learn how to start something. In the similar way, you also have to learn how to end something, means the conclusion. The ending or the concluding piece of writing. In the same way, you just can't stop, full stop and complete your writing. You have to at least write 1 or 2 sentences which will be talking about the conclusion part. So now we are coming to the basic grammatical part which you need to know, you already know. That is, we have to have an idea about the phrase. What is a phrase? What is a sentence? We have to have a clear idea about the difference between a phrase and a sentence. A phrase we already know. Phrase is a group of words that are making a sense but not a complete sense, because a phrase is not having a finite verb. Therefore, the meaning is somewhat clear, but it can't be considered to be a proper sentence because there is no finite verb. Okay, now there are different types of phrases. One is noun phrase, that is acting like the object or subject in the sentence, that will be a noun phrase. If it is doing the work of an adjective, that will become adjective phrase. If it is doing the work of an adverb in the sentence, it will become adverbial phrase. And there is a prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase means a preposition followed by a noun. That kind of thing is called prepositional. Verbal phrase means the entire verb. The main verb along with the helping verb together is called the verbal phrase. Next, understanding the parts of speech in English. There are different parts of speech. Like for example, while you're writing a sentence, the entire sentence is composed of several words. Each word is actually a part of a speech. One can be a noun, another can be a pronoun, another verb is very much needed, adjective will be there, adverb maybe it will be there, preposition, conjunction, interjection. So these are all the parts of speech. I'm not going into details, you already know what is an adjective, adverb. Next, we are coming to the sentences. So sentences are like making a complete sense, having a finite verb, and sentences can be divided into 4 types, 4 kinds. One is assertive sentence, means you are stating something like declarative, like a statement, that is called assertive sentence. Next is interrogative sentence, means the sentence which is like a question. Okay. Next, imperative sentence means you are asking something, you are actually ordering something or requesting someone or suggesting something to do. That is imperative. Whereas exclamatory means you are showing a kind of burst of emotion. Either you are very sad or you are very happy or you are very excited, something which is being expressed through your sentence. Next, the kinds of sentence on the basis of their structure we can divide into simple sentence, complex sentence, compound sentence. Simple sentence, you know, having one clause, independent clause, whereas compound means having 2 or more independent clause, whereas complex means one will be a dependent clause, another will be an independent clause. Okay, and the next is subject and predicate. You have to have an idea of the subject in the sentence and which is the predicate of the sentence, that you already know. And the next part is the articles. And articles are very important, because if you are telling give me a pen, you are going to the shop, you are telling give me a pen, the shopkeeper will understand you are actually telling to give you any kind of pen, any, just you just want a pen. So he will just give a pen to you. But if you are telling give me the pen, then the shopkeeper will ask which one. Give me the pen, the shopkeeper will ask which one, because here the shopkeeper will understand you are referring to one particular type of pen. Okay, so he will ask which one. So these are the two differences between articles. One is definite, one is indefinite. Next, paragraph writing. What is the system of paragraph writing? There are some rules given. For a paragraph, first you have to have a topic. You have to say the topic of the paragraph. Next, you have to give the introduction, that is the opening sentence. Next is the body of the paragraph, means the explanation or description. And last, the conclusion. And what are the rules for writing a paragraph? Keep the paragraph focused on the topic. Avoid longer paragraphs. Topic sentences should be relevant. Arrange the sentence in a logical sequence. Avoid repeating sentences. Concluding paragraph should cover the central idea of the topic. So these are the rules. The last point, concluding paragraph. How you are writing the concluding paragraph? So normally what people do, when a person starts writing a piece of writing, he will first read the first few lines. In the first few lines, he will get one idea what exactly the person has written about. And then he will just do some kind of skimming reading while reading the body. He will not read the body properly. He will read the conclusion line, because conclusion line will tell overall what is this entire topic result, means the writing result, outcome of the result, means what exactly I am trying to say in the end is written clearly in the conclusion. So conclusion should be very much clear. It should cover the central idea of the topic. Okay, so therefore we have completed, within these few classes, we have completed the first chapter. So congratulations. So you can just go through the chapter once again. It's very easy, nothing to worry about. Just keep the points in mind and the structure in mind. You have any question, you may ask me now regarding the chapter, if you are having any question. And in my next class, instead of starting the new chapter, we can do one thing. We can just mark some probable questions for your board. Okay, so you will get one idea in which way you have to prepare for the board on this IT paper from the English side. Okay. Okay then. Okay then, I'm ending my class here. Wait for your next class, is about to start. Bye bye.